Hey guys, welcome to the Draft Indy Podcast. It's been a little bit. We've been busy, as holiday times appear to be busy, but the hot takes never stop. So we're here. And today was a day of hot takes in the Colts Twitter world. Not going to get into it, but it was a day of hot takes. But we're going to get some hot takes today. So what we're going to do, I'm going to tell you how we're going to go forward with this podcast. We're going to talk about there was a game on Sunday, I think. I tried not to remember it too much, but we might try and recollect that game. We're going to talk about what's going to happen at the end of the season, and then we're actually going to talk to y'all about pass rushers. And we specifically Shaq Lawson from Clemson. I had to remember his name. There's too many Lawsons in this draft, especially in edge rushers, but there's only really two, but it's still confusing. Because they're both 6'2", 265, 270. So I guess we can maybe begin talking about the Jaguars game. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really. I mean, it was really awful.
Was this really the low points of the season? Was this when we hit rock bottom? Because I feel like people just have been saying that after every loss this season. And maybe it's always been true. Maybe we just keep finding more rock bottoms.
Man, when it happens this late, like when we're supposed to be having all this momentum,
right.
Like this is really. I'm excited though because this is hopefully the nail in the coffin of firing Pagano.
Yes.
So like this.
Yes. And hopefully it's also the nail in the coffin of this thing that we've been doing recently, where it's like we sort of lose to Carolina, and then we lose closely to the Patriots, and it's like, oh, these optimistic losses. I'm just tired of that.
Yeah, I'm over it. I'd rather just
lose.
Man,
lose straight up by like 20.
51 points, guys.
Yeah, I kind of hit
and
that.
And Blake Bortles sucked.
And Blake Bortles was terrible, and they scored 51 points.
It wasn't that bad.
It was bad.
It was bad. It was bad. Look, Jaleel Brown. I may have said things about him in preseason where I was like, he's good. No, he's complete trash.
Okay. I gotta sip some tea here because all preseason and training camp, people were looking at these guys who were like in their fifth year, and these cornerbacks who have started 2 games maybe, and they're like, oh, maybe he's just really good now. No, and I never took time to study Jaleel Brown because I knew I didn't need to.
No, you didn't need to. And then Vontae came back, but still, that nightmare that we've discussed before of where Vontae Davis is down was almost actually double magnified because Toller was down at the same time and still is down. So, like, a secondary missing Vontae and Toller would just be probably the worst in the league, right?
Oh,
maybe?
Yeah,
well, maybe.
At least CBs. So.
CBs, yeah.
And the thing about our safeties, while we're on the subject, is it's not that they're bad at all. It's just that they are kind of old and they are a little slow, so when they do get out of position, it's going to look pretty bad. But they don't tend to do that very often, which is fine. And it's not like safety play in this league is that high just generally, so I don't think that we're like super high or super low.
All right, wait. Can I budge in? I have to do something. Garrett, what are you wearing?
It's a hoodie.
Why did it looks so weird on you? It look like.
Does it look like I have like flowing locks?
Yeah,
that's what it looks like. Oh, that's awesome.
That is kind of funny.
Okay, I just have to say, you look like Red Riding Hood right there.
It's all good.
Yeah, this definitely felt like the worst loss for multiple reasons. Probably the biggest one being that this is the first time they've lost in the AFC South. Like, no matter how many times they get blown out by the Steelers, they get blown out by the Patriots. It's like, okay, but we can still fall back on we're going to kick the shit out of the Jaguars and we're going to beat up on the Titans. And now it's like, wait a sec, the Jaguars and Titans have good quarterbacks and our defense has got something to worry about. That's not good.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the whole team fell apart. I mean, they gave up, there was offense giving up touchdowns. There was special teams giving up touchdowns. There was 80-yard touchdowns on 15-yard pass routes. It was bad.
3 punt returns for touchdowns this year, which is not good. That's very bad.
I'm pretty sure that is not good.
I think the best thing that comes out of the game is that maybe the Jacksonville coaches will realize that Denard Robinson is way better than DJ Yeldon, but that's just me. It's a good take, but this is a sister podcast, Jacksonville Jaguars. So
Yes.
we like to talk about them occasionally.
I liked Uncle Chaps' tweet a lot. He said the Yeldon turns 3-yard runs into 8-yard runs and 50-yard runs into 20-yard runs. And that's good, man. He'll get extra yards and he'll turn short things into a little bit longer runs. But if you get him out in the open field, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I still like Yeldon, but you guys are crazy for top 35, 36 pick, whatever he was.
Yeah,
I think he was
didn't like him in the
34,
draft.
35. I mean, Jacksonville Jaguars game is so kind of just bad. I don't even really want to talk about it. I mean, like, it's what people want us to talk about, I'm sure, but at the same time, it's like, who cares right now? Like, I mean, God, like,
But
luck isn't coming back. Let's just be
luck. Start off on that. I want to talk about Denzel Good, like that one play where Alan Branch came over and like the score was going to be what 20-3 at that point. Like that's that one play that turned it. I still have confidence that was the big play where the Colts still maybe would have held on and won that game because you're up 20-3 on the road against this team. Like that was the turning point.
I actually do agree because it's not like the Jags are good, like even relative to the piece of shit team that we have. So I really do think that we would have held on, or at least it wouldn't have been a blowout, certainly, unless all this crazy stuff happened. Things snowballed because that's what happens in football.
Yeah, it did snowball on them really quick. I mean, it was.
I don't know, man. They scored 42 points in the second half. I don't know about that.
I mean,
fumble.
with that momentum going forward of scoring that late touchdown.
Yeah, I know what you're saying about the momentum. I don't know. I just think bad teams give up points.
Well, it's not just giving up points; it's falling behind at a certain point. With this team, like, what are we gonna do?
Yeah, it's not like you're not gonna ask Matt Hasselbeck to dig you out of a a hole like that. I mean, he can't really. I mean, I don't think he really can, and he's hurt. And I mean, man, like I really think like it's week 15, right? And it's gonna be T.J. Yates versus Charlie Whitehurst.
The AFC South. Oh my God.
AFC South, man. Like seriously, like that's where we're at in this season. It's like 2011 all over again.
Are we drafting a quarterback?
No. And I mean, I still, the crazy thing is, like, guys, for real, like, we could still win the division. Like,
I know, but I really don't want to.
I don't want to. I don't want to even be
happy
associated with the division.
We are the worst Colts fans of all time, and I'll bashfully admit that. Like, I
No.
love the team, but, like, please
We're
look at the Texans.
We're
Like,
the best Colts fans.
I agree. And it's, everyone's always, you see these people, and I've had people ask me, why do I want the team to lose if I'm a fan of the team? I was like, here it is. Look, we're never going to go to the Super Bowl with Chuck Pagano. We're never going to go to the Super Bowl with Chuck Pagano. Time to fire him. He's got to go. Like, he's not that good. He's not really good at all. He can coach some secondary players up. That's cool. But that's not the entire defense, and the offense has got its issues. I still don't think that Chud. I mean, Chud's definitely a better play caller than Pep, but there's still.
Yeah.
The wide receivers don't get open, and like that, he's not scheming them open very well. I don't know.
And again, it's not like we're just blaming these coaches for these problems that have arisen this year. It's just that these problems have kind of always been there, and now they're more problematic because our quarterback died.
Exactly.
So it's time to fire.
Exactly like 2011. Team was terrible, right? I mean, the team was really bad, and the only saving grace on the team was Peyton Manning. And Peyton Manning goes down with a neck injury, and boom, 2-11. Now, luckily, Matt Hasselbeck got to play some bad teams at good times, right? He played the Titans, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Texans.
the
Who else
Falcons
did he
when
beat?
they were awful.
And the
They were
Falcons.
awful. Yeah.
And the Falcons, who are terrible.
Didn't they start 5-0?
Yeah, they started 5-0, but now what are they? 5-9 or
6-7.
6-7?
Yeah.
6-7. Okay.
That's
well,
Josh McDaniels status.
that's
I
a
don't know.
good take.
And
That's a good take.
overall,
Whatever.
like, we want to talk about like this team, like, and overall, like, it's worth playing bad for 1 year to like have these problems like
Yeah.
come to fruition. Like we're losing the battle, but like hey, if we eventually win the war and Pagano's gone and we can get Luck healthy again, like is it worth it?
We're
And
going
not to
to take
mention-
the L.
And not to mention the higher draft pick, which is what we're all about, right? Like, we're draft guys. We're looking to get these elite guys. We watch them all. We want to see them all. We want to get the best guys. Like, it sucks drafting at the end because you don't get it. And we've talked about this before on this very podcast. We won so fast with Luck in the Grigson-Pagano area that we did not get these building stone players. We didn't get the cornerstone players that you can get in the beginning rounds. We didn't get those right after we got Luck. Luck was a cornerstone player. You could say T.Y. Hilton's a cornerstone player, and we got him in the third. But still, like, other than that, we don't have any of these really cornerstone players, from the past couple drafts, and that's because we were drafting so late. I mean, partially because, we drafted Warner and traded a first for T-Rich. Besides the point, those things did happen. But still, the cornerstone pieces, like, that's what we really need, and losing out the season gets us there. Because we need cornerstone pieces. I mean, we need edge. We need another CB. We need inside linebacker, another younger safety. I mean, the list. I mean, you could just really kind of about the list, but a lot of those are succession planning type things, right? So, but not the backup CB and edge. We need 3 edges. Honestly, we need 2 in a rotational guy, but we'll get into that as we start talking about edge players. But it's so weird because this, I don't know, the team is Jekyll and Hyde, and it's mostly just bad. I mean, it's like sometimes you'll see good things, sometimes you'll see bad things, but it's mostly just bad.
I was thinking about this recently, and I realized, I mean, with every team, you see a certain fluctuation, a certain oscillation, game to game, or even quarter to quarter, play to play in performance. Players do bad things and they do good things, and it's the really talented teams like the Seahawks, who even though they were in a slump for the first part of this season, they're talented enough to the point where at some point they're just going to become dominant again. And we're this team that has like this mediocre level of talent. So when things don't go our way and we're playing like crap, it's going to be really, really bad, almost regardless of who we're playing. But we're also good enough to, when things go right, win a few games, win half our games maybe. And that's the way it's been for a while, except we had this one guy who was capable of elevating our talents, which was Luck. And now we don't have that, so we're seeing this fluctuation. And this is why people are like optimistic one week and really pessimistic the next week. And really, your opinions of this team should not be changing this year. We're seeing things that we've just seen for the last 3 years.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. The weird coaching fluctuations, or not coaching fluctuations, the weird performance fluctuations where you've got weird blowouts and you've got weird, just weird losses here and there, like that has happened.
Weird beating the undefeated Denver Broncos.
Yeah, beat the Denver Broncos undefeated, and then lose, or then let Pittsburgh drop over 40,
beating the undefeated Carolina Panthers, like shit like that.
Yeah, and then you get the 40 burger from the Steelers and the actual 50 burger from the Jacksonville Jaguars. And again, I stress the Jacksonville Jaguars. And, I mean, they needed the win. It's cool for them, cool for their fan base, I guess. I still don't want them to win. Whatever. But it's it was funny because they immediately started talking trash. Right? Like they're all talking trash during the game, and I'm just like, your trash franchise has always been bad. Like this is the most significant win. This is one of the most significant wins of their franchise, and that's what happened on Sunday.
I mean, yeah, but it would be kind of like if the 2011 Colts had beaten the Patriots or something, like it would have been something like it's something like just trying to. I'm trying to translate it.
Yeah, let him get excited, man.
Yeah,
I don't care about that. I was reading it all too and just like laughing. Some guys said something like, Luck Super Bowl rings. Where are those? Or something like, man, you guys don't have any Super Bowls. You guys never been to a Super Bowl. Why are we talking about Super Bowls? It's not even.
They've been in the playoffs once. Was it under Garrard or Leftwich?
They've gone 2 or 3 times. But yeah, the one time with Garrard, they won a game.
They won a game with Garrard.
Yeah, that Steelers game, they 4th and 5 or something. They ran a draw with Garrard to win it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Good for you guys. I mean, hey, I don't know.
Whatever,
it's
cool.
exciting for them, but it's funny to sit back and okay, so now you guys have 5 wins for the season. You guys might finish 8-8.
Well, one thing that sucks about the AFC South is that, or like from an outsider perspective, is that the only real rivalry involved is that everyone hates the Colts, and that's because they've been the only good franchise.
No, hold on. Everyone hates the Colts, but everyone equally hates on the Titans because that's the true trash franchise of the AFC South.
They hate on the Titans, but no one bears them actual animosity. No one wants them to be bad. People want to see the Colts lose.
Yeah, they do.
I don't know. I think everybody dislikes the Titans. Titans they're always the kind of a dirty team. They always fight. They're the one that they've won one time. The what?
The Florida Gators of the NFL.
Yeah. So nobody
likes. It's kind of sad though when you think about the division as a whole because teams like Pittsburgh and Baltimore, that rivalry game, the NFC East, every game in the NFC East is a rivalry game. The NFC teams hate each other, but because it's a rivalry, the Colts rival is the Patriots, and we just expect 21-point blowouts when we do that. So I don't know.
Patriots fans won't let you get away with that comment because I remember reading a comment once. It's how can it be a rivalry if there's not a rivalry between a hammer and a nail, right? I was like, but then again, fuck the Patriots. Pardon everyone listening. That's the F-bomb that I get to drop once.
This is a family podcast.
It is not a family podcast. Well, it is actually. I'm sorry.
But
my family members
this is such a weird year for the AFC South.
It's a weird year in football.
But I know. But if we want to focus on the AFC South because Jacksonville and Tennessee, they got their quarterbacks. In Houston, who knows Hoyer what he wants to be, but their coaching has shown up because their defense went for a 2 or 3 game span where they didn't give up a touchdown. So this is almost this is the year where I think rivalries hopefully start to build, and it's not one team on top and 3 basement dwellers. And I want that as a fan.
No, I do too. It adds another dimension because it sucks to be let's look at the schedule. Let's just start the schedule at 6-0, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just start your predictions at 6-1 or 6-0 or 5-1, right? Mm-hmm. So
it's weird because the Colts had a perfectly legitimate reason to tank when Luck went down. Even after those. You don't want to tank after 2 losses like they had to the Jets and Bills, but a perfectly legitimate reason to not win the division when your star quarterback goes down, but yet it couldn't be done properly.
And if Pagano and Grigson and everyone had been assured they would have their jobs next year, they might have wanted to tank. But
there's just no sure feeling of anything, and I've had so much fun this year with this division because it's so chaotic, but. I don't see that. The NFC East is kind of like this, but because there's that one team, because there's the Colts at the top who have been there for so long. The only 2 times they didn't win the division were the Titans under Kerry Collins, and I think the Texans once, right?
2011.
By the way, yeah. I just thought of something.
Texans won it twice.
Oh yeah,
they did.
Okay. Yeah, because they won it. They won it in 2012. Right, and then they won the year.
Colts got the wild card that year.
Yeah, you're right. You're all right.
Titans have 2, Texans have 2.
Yeah. Oh man, I actually watched that Texans-Patriots playoff game in a Patriots bar, in somewhere in L.A. It was actually pretty dope. They had this one Russian guy. Never mind. I just realized that the whole QB wins argument is going to be really rough on Mariota after this year, because he's playing a lot better than people expect him to. But
he really is.
They're not winning anything.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I really do think Hoyer is still going to be the guy for Houston moving forward. But Clowney's playing better. Watt's still what he is. They put a lot on that defense last year. DeAndre Hopkins is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. So yeah, it's tough because the Colts actually have to worry about division games next year. But as a fan, this is more enticing.
I want these quarterbacks to stay good so that we can all hate each other literally every NFC division does. The NFC North hates itself. The NFC East, West, South, they all every game, even with it's the Rams and the Cardinals. They're really the fan bases get.
I feel like it's the AFC South and the AFC West are the 2 divisions where there aren't really rivalries.
Maybe it's because I spend too much time with Raiders Twitter, but that doesn't feel right to me.
No,
Chiefs will
That's
murder a Raiders fan, and Broncos will murder a Chiefs fan, and
Okay, I don't know.
Basically Chargers are kind of left out, but the other three they are absolutely they hate each other.
People hate Phillip Rivers though because he was the best quarterback in that division for a long time.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
like
You're right.
this year in football is like the year of the AFC South because like that's what's drawing so much attention, and like this is an evolutionary year for this division like moving forward because these two of the teams they got their quarterback, their young quarterback, and the team at top like what's happening, coaching changes, personnel changes, quarterbacks, stuff like that. So I don't know, it's been a hell of a ride.
And it'll be interesting to see the off season again as these teams vie to move around each other. It's been interesting because if you look at besides the Colts, the other two really have been priding themselves on that defense. Well, maybe not the Jaguars, but they try to do defense, right? Because that's the antithesis to the Colts. And when you look at the other divisions, like AFC East, right? They've built big defenses again. Well, they try to. Sometimes they fail. The Dolphins tried, and they've not been successful this year. But it'll be. You're right. You're right, Brian. I mean, it'll add more excitement to the games because it's kind of boring. Like it's there's not a lot of good trash talk, right? There's not. I mean, it'd be fun. It'd be fun as a fan.
We're all just kind of like subtweeting each other, really.
Yeah, like it's a joking trap, but like there's I don't know. Yeah, this division needs a rivalry, and where it occurs will be because like people like in the AFC North, like it's Ravens and Steelers, like that scene, like it's split up with Ravens, Steelers, and Browns, Bengals, probably location-wise too, but those are like the rivalries. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to this. AFC South is unlike any other division.
And there'll be 2 new head coaches hopefully in the AFC South next year. Colts and Titans. And then who knows, maybe Jacksonville
extends Gus, a.k.a. Bald Pagano.
I'll take Gus as a defensive coordinator.
Energetic Bald Pagano.
They actually do kind of look alike, don't they?
Extended. Gus is staying.
Yeah, he is staying, I think. So, all right, let's...
Enough about the Jags.
Enough about the Jags. Enough about this. Let's talk about an edge rusher. Let's do that. Does that sound fun? Let's do that. As I tweeted out on the account earlier, we are getting excited about draft season. Brian has told me that he spent the last 4 days in front of a computer on Draft Breakdown. I don't want to know how his room smells, but I imagine it can't be too pleasant. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna what's the matter, James?
Don't mind my naked baby coming in here in his Paw Patrol underoos.
Tell him to say hey. Give him a shout out.
Landon, what do we say? No, what do we say? Yeah.
There you go. Teach him young. Teach him young. That's good.
That's a funny way to say Jaguars.
No, he doesn't know we bandwagon jumped yet.
Oh, he doesn't know yet?
No.
Okay.
Hey, ask him to...
No, mommy, okay?
I'm going to mute James for a second.
Oh, no.
Oh, he's back.
Sorry, yeah, just mute me and you guys keep talking. I'll deal with naked baby.
Family podcast.
Yeah. This is a family podcast now, officially. This is good. I like it. All right. So what the plan is right now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna give y'all a little bit of a breakdown, without video, which is unfortunate. I can't.
Jay's kid's still jumping around in the background.
Yeah.
This is freaking hilarious.
He's jumping around saying, "Go Colts, go Colts, go Colts." So he's good with me, man.
That's good, right? I can't complain. You can't complain about that, right? You can't. But the plan is, and this is what we had been practicing a couple weeks ago just to see if we can do it. The plan is just to give some videos. Is he chasing them?
I'm so jealous of Jay's family life, like all the
I
time.
know, right?
He's
It's
getting
too good.
pretty much every respect.
All right, I'm back. Let's.
All right. That was good.
Shaq Lawson.
Shaq Lawson. Okay, like I was saying, the goal is to do some video breakdown podcasts, video series, or whatever you want to call it, through YouTube. And what we'll do is we'll pick a person, we'll play a couple tapes, and we'll discuss as we're watching. We'll break them down as what we see as we're going along. That's not what we're going to do here today. What we're going to do today is we're gonna just kind of talk about Shaq Lawson. He's been in the first round conversation for a little while now. He's a edge rusher out of Clemson. So I mean, who wants to start? Who's got the first? Who thinks they got a good take on Shaq Lawson? All right,
I'll take it.
Take it.
So I'm the one that kind of started the Shaq wagon on Draft Indy, I guess. I mean, it's not that I'm like I found him or something. He's most people's second or third rated edge rusher. So I don't know. I really like him. The problem is he's not going to be probably your 12 sack a year guy. Like he's going to get a bunch of sacks. He's going to be a really good run defender. But if you go, I mean, I'm going into this knowing that we're just getting a good edge defender, not necessarily going to be our all-pro pass rusher.
I think, he kind of fits the mold of the Eric Walden role. He's not the rush linebacker. He's on the other side where he's still going to be rushing the passer a lot. But when he's with his size, I mean, he's 270. So with his formidable size, you know that he can protect the run. Kind of put him on the other side.
Yeah, and
it's not just that he's big and strong too. I mean, he's good in space. I think for his size.
Oh yeah,
for his size. For reference, he's 6'2", 6'3", 270, something like that.
Yeah, I think 6'3", 270.
Yeah,
we're not comparing him to Eric Walden.
No,
right?
Just
Yeah,
similar role.
Yeah.
Strong side linebacker.
Yeah. What we all thought that Warner was going to be.
Right.
He's he's got a lot of talent. He's a really good overall player. He doesn't have any super good individual traits, but he's going to be good in a lot of areas. Strong edge defender. He's good versus the run. You see tackles trying to push him off the line, and I mean he'll get moved a little bit sometimes, but he spends a lot of.
It doesn't happen. He doesn't get pushed back.
No, he anchors pretty well.
And I'll tell you why, real quick. I gotta say it. If you watch this guy's tape, this dude has the biggest trunk. Like I mean, this is the fun part of Jeff. I'm gonna talk about his butt, right? This dude has like his butt and his thighs make like it's just impressive. I mean, I know it's so random to say, but like you can really tell that he's got strength in that core area, and that's why he doesn't get pushed back because he has an absolute trunk when it comes to his bottom half. Go ahead, James. Keep going.
And then. I mean, even just look at his upper body. He literally looks like he's a giant out there on the field. My first note, I literally wrote this on my phone when I was watching film, is a mammoth of a person. He looks like a giant. His shoulders are super broad. He's got arms that he could scratch his kneecaps and stuff. So he's really long. He's got, really big body. He sets the edge. He's got a little bit of bend. He's not great. He needs to be more consistent. I think it almost like I don't know if he gets tired, but his technique gets sloppy. His hand usage doesn't get as good, and he doesn't bend as much, and his footwork isn't as good. But when he's on, like maybe he gets gassed and it's not as good. It's up there. Let's see what
I think he's asked to react a lot as opposed to move forward real fast, because I think he is a very good run defender, as what we were saying.
He reacts really well.
Yeah, but his defensive scheme asks him to do that, which he does really, really well. So he's able to stop the run. He puts some really good. He can shed the block and attend to the run at a good notice, and that's why when I first watched him, and again that burst off the line is always something that you want to watch when you watch edge rushers, but you can't judge it completely off that. And sometimes it just looks like he's the last guy off the field. He's the last guy off the line.
A lot of the time he is.
A lot of the time he is, but a lot of the time they are asking him to react to the play. And when he does do that, I think he does move at a good speed for how big he is. Like we were saying, I mean, he moves. He's agile for being so big.
When Grant and I were watching him, I guess it was like a week ago or something.
Yeah.
We were seeing this big guy who could move pretty well for his size, and he was just throwing people around the field, and that was really cool to watch. And naturally, I think we both harkened back to 2014, and we thought, okay, Preston Smith. He's not. I don't think I like him as much as Preston Smith, and I don't think they're entirely similar players because we talked about how Preston Smith is like this perfect edge rusher in terms of his athleticism. But he has that kind of like ability just to, now that I'm going to use my F on, he can just fuck somebody up. Seriously.
I mean,
he's got so much power.
Yeah, the power in his, moving forward, his power, and he's got, hopefully I'm not confusing my Lawsons, but he's got a pretty decent spin move, which for a big guy, he's got a pretty impressive spin move, which is good to see. I'm trying to remember. I watched the Notre Dame tape, North Carolina State, and Miami. So I mean, he's got. I don't know. I think he's good, and I really do think, like, depending on where we end up in the draft, I do think that he's got first round talent, especially as strong side linebacker who. We asked to rush the passer in this defense. We don't know what scheme we're going to have next year, but I would assume it would be something similar to a 3-4. But even if we were to move to a 4-3, he would still be the strong side guy because we don't have anyone. We don't have anyone else.
Yeah.
We just really don't have anyone else. But we would ask.
We're talking about base.
Yeah.
We're talking about base set right now.
Yeah.
We're talking about base set right now, but a lot of time he would be just playing the edge with his hand in the dirt.
Yeah, a lot of time in the nickel he would be.
So not really a linebacker in the sense of I haven't wanted to concede that we run like a hybrid 3-4 because I think it's mostly when people see that they're just talking about mostly our nickel packages, which are standard for the most part for a 3-4, but they look like a 4-3. But yeah, in terms of what it is that we're asking him to do, we're not asking him to be like a linebacker in the traditional sense of the word, even in really an outside linebacker in the 3-4. I think he would have his hand in the dirt a lot.
The most that he's going to be doing if his hand is in the dirt is pretty much just setting the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he stands up a lot for Clemson. He spends probably at least a third of the game. I didn't count the exact snaps, but that's the impression I got. Like a third of the time he's standing up, and he's pretty good there. I just think he's really good overall. I mean, he doesn't have any really big weaknesses. He's got little things that aren't that good, but there's nothing that's like, oh yeah, this is definitely going to be his weakness.
It'll be interesting again. Like a lot of the stuff, for me, we talked about this last week when it comes to like combine numbers and stuff. I like to look at combine numbers, and it doesn't affect my perception of what I see on the tape. But I like to see if I can match it. I'm interested to see his combine numbers.
Yeah, definitely. I'll bet he jumps pretty well.
Yes.
I'll bet his broad is pretty good.
Yeah, you're right. His broad will be. I mean, the power in his legs is impressive. But I'd be interested to see his 3-cone and the short shuttle because
I'll bet his 3-cone will be good for a guy his size.
Yeah.
For his weight class too.
Yeah, and
that's a really, in terms of what I look for in a combine, that would be a really impressive combination. Having a good 3-cone and having good jumps.
And from the tape, he's got. I mean, he moves like he's pretty agile for a big guy. So
he's powerful and he's agile. So that's those are two things you look for in football players.
And he's not bad in coverage. Like if they were to ask him to do that coverage, he's not too bad.
And I don't care. Honestly,
and I don't. Yeah, you're right. I don't care. All he's got to do is try and run with the guy.
Yeah. Just stand there, get in the way.
Get in the way, exactly. And Warner could do that occasionally.
Yeah, I mean, just be an obstacle for the quarterback to throw around.
Yeah. Brian, you got any takes on Shaq here?
Haven't really focused too much on him, but pretty much like we said, as that strong side guy, really, I hope he sets the edge well. I think that's something that, if we want to talk about Preston Smith, that's something Preston Smith did really well. Which is really important for that role, especially with teams when they set their runs. They usually do it away from the rush linebacker. You know, when you have that premier pass rusher, you're setting runs to the other side. So it's really important for that strong side guy to be able to do that. Haven't watched him like really intently at all. Maybe watched like one game, but I mean he's getting that round one consideration. So
yeah, I don't. My biggest thing is that I'm already annoyed that I'm gonna get all hyped up about him and he's gonna go like 7th overall or something and won't even come close.
But remember, if everything worked out perfectly, we could get pick 6 or 7. But that involves all of the mediocre teams like winning out and all the bad teams losing out.
if we're at 6 or 7, might as well
just let it.
if you
let it happen.
go to that point, just trade up for Bosa.
Right? Yeah, if
Just
you're
let
at
it
pick
happen.
6 or 7, yeah, just trade it for Bosa. But realistically, this guy is probably middle to the late round, I'd say. If I'm really thinking about it, Combine might be able to shoot him up a little bit.
Yeah.
But
I don't-
I'd be fairly comfortable putting a first round grade on him.
Yeah, I've watched 3 games, which is usually what I consider my amateur spot that I'll throw a grade on somebody if I feel like it, and I'd feel comfortable mid first round. If we were 15, I'd have no problem taking him there at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I think especially Combine, he's going to test well. He's not going to have the best long speed, but he's going to have good 3-cone. I bet he's going to have good jumps. They're going to notice like, wow, this man's arms are. I don't even know how big his wingspan is. If it comes out like 78, I wouldn't be surprised. Which actually that's not even that good. It sounded good in my head when I was like 78. That sounds like a lot. It'll be a big wingspan. 33-inch arms, 3/4 inch arms. I don't know, man. I'm not metrics Twitter.
You should be.
Actually, I was looking up metrics today, trying to figure out a good comp for him, and size-wise, and I feel like I could see a little bit is Chris Long. I feel that's what I'm gonna hitch my wagon to for now.
I can dig that.
Chris
Strong
Long.
side, good strong side.
Yeah, good strong. Right or left forward 3 defensive end. He can play outside if you need to.
Right. No, that's actually a pretty good comp. I like it.
Sorry, what was the comp?
Chris Long.
No, I was gonna say now he can't tell him as soon as he came back.
Shut up.
Make him
Shut up, Brian.
I said last night at like 2 in the morning. I tweeted out, "Has anybody made the Ryan Kerrigan comp?" And then I looked and what's his name? I can't even think of the guy's name. McShay. We called him.
Did he
What's up?
freeze?
I think he froze.
Yeah, he froze.
Oh, wait, I'm back. Okay, I don't know what that was.
No, not you.
You didn't freeze.
Oh, okay.
It's
All right.
James.
Okay.
He provided
James.
good entertainment for us. And now I want to know what McShay said, even though I'm not a big fan of his analysis.
It is interesting though, because someone pointed out last year that these big draft guys is like that they know, or maybe
they just know.
Maybe it's the hype that they generate actually influences the NFL's decision making, which I wouldn't be surprised by at all.
Oh, I'm
Right.
sure it does.
Oh, it does.
But it's also like they know, you know.
Who was it? It was 2. I remember McShay was talking about this in like a feature piece like 2 years ago. Like he knew the Dolphins were taking Jawan James. Like
Yes.
he they had their pick set and they knew like no one else was taking Jawan James because he was a 3rd round prospect. But and so he couldn't put that in there. So I mean yeah they know, and even guys like Walter Cherepinski for Walter Football. Like last year, all year I saw Eric Flowers like he put him in top 15. I was like, well, I don't have to worry about that because I know Eric Flowers isn't going top 15, and Eric Flowers goes top 10. So
Yeah.
I mean, we can say what we want, but I don't know. I kind of like the cross-racial comps. I'm glad that those are getting a little more love. We're not just comparing Shaq Lawson to Quentin Coples or something like that.
He's much better than Quentin Coples.
Yeah, but like J.J. Watt, like we're afraid to like them compare him to a non-white player. So I'm glad those are getting some love.
Well, all right. Well, I'm not going to go there. I was going to say, name a non-white player who's more dominant than J.J. Watt right now.
Oh, did I say? I meant Joey Bosa. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. I wonder what happened to James. And I think now Garrett's muted, so he's probably listening to family members or something. Yeah.
Okay.
I caught that one. So I mean, it'll be interesting. Like I said, I mean, what we're really kind of do is we just wanted to kind of give you guys some names to listen to. Just or to think about. You're going to hear these names start coming out. And what's interesting for me, and this is something that I actually do believe, right now between November and January, you're actually getting honest draft takes. You're getting honest draft takes.
Mm-hmm.
February, Combine, East-West Shrine Game, Senior Bowl, you start to hear all these rumors, and then the smoke screens are up, and the smoke screens are up, and the smoke screens are up. And then, just like Brian was saying, like maybe like the week or the few days before the draft, more truth actually like really comes out, because it was last year or 2 years ago with Juwan James and with DJ Hayden. If you guys remember, like it was
I don't remember that.
DJ who, and then all of a sudden someone was like, oh yeah, the DJ Hayden's a first round pick, and then multiple people were like, oh yeah, DJ Hayden's totally a first round pick, and it just happened to be the Raiders, who knew that was their pick all along, just like Juwan James. So, it'll be interesting. So right now I feel like we're getting some honesty out of big name people.
Yeah, and Shaq Lawson is one of like 5 or 6 guys, at least at this point, that are in the target range for a mid to late first round pick as an edge rusher.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why we're just kind of bringing you that guy, and in each podcast going forward, we're going to try and break down one guy. He might not be an edge guy. He might be an interior O-lineman, center, or a right guard. Could be a CB, because as we've been discussing, I don't think anyone in this podcast is going to tell you that we have a number one need other than edge.
Yeah, as much as we would like to take edge 1, 2 in the first round, second round, third round, that's not very realistic and not very good for the franchise. But I mean, yeah, you talked about interior offensive line. This year apparently is like the year of the center.
It is the year of the center.
There's like 6 or 7 starting centers that you can get through like round 4. So I'm excited for that. Get ourselves a nice center.
Or just let's play it safe. Get 2. Honestly, at this point.
Why not? Who knows? James, are you here?
Landon?
Landon, are you here?
Get Landon on the pod. If Ollie can't show up, then at least Landon can.
Dang. All right. Well, so next week we will not be doing a podcast. Holidays. Enjoy your families. Enjoy talking about the Houston Texans game, which again is potentially T.J. Yates versus Charlie Whitehurst. It'll be a good day for Red Zone.
Is the winner of this game pretty much the AFC South champion?
I think so, except the Texans finished the season with like 3 games against AFC South teams. So if they lose like a couple of those, then they could, even if they beat us, they could lose the division, I guess. But or they could take it. I mean,
yeah, I haven't really looked much at the Texans schedule. I know Colts, it's Texans, Dolphins, Titans.
It really is. It's in their hands to win the division at this point. So the question is how much you really trust the Texans, I guess.
You got to trust T.J. Yates.
Yeah, you got to.
I mean, he's taken him to a playoff game before.
He's won a playoff game before.
And he's won a playoff game before. Has Charlie Whitehurst won a game? No.
Hasn't he always been in the AFC South, Charlie Whitehurst? Like I don't remember how long.
No, because Pete Carroll traded like a day 2 pick for him when the first year he was in Seattle.
Oh, he was in Seattle. Okay.
Like before they got Russell Wilson, like Pete Carroll wanted Charlie Whitehurst as like the guy, like for his franchise.
No, Pizza Genius. He totally knew that Russell was going to be that good. He wasn't just taking shots in the mid rounds.
I think it was like the year. I think it was the year before, because then they brought in what's his face from Green Bay, and like Tavares Jackson.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
Charlie Whitehurst, like
Flynn.
Pete Carroll.
Matt Flynn. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so
what
like
it was.
Pete Carroll had like a huge man crush on Charlie Whitehurst. That was the first time I ever heard of him.
Yeah.
I can see why. He's a very attractive man.
He looks like he belongs on like some kind of album cover. I'm not even sure really what genre, but something.
Christian rock.
I mean,
Yes.
yeah, maybe that. Yes, obviously, good point.
Yeah. So, like as I was saying, we're not going to do one next week. Plan on coming at you again the last week of December, and we are officially in draft season, guys. So
Yeah, I mean by the next pod we'll have hopefully some written content out.
yeah, we're working on
No,
written
I definitely-
content. We got 5 of us now.
We're working around the clock,
We're working around the clock.
trying to make that content for you guys because we know you're so interested in this Colts team.
You are, and that's why you listen to our podcast.
That's true, actually. You're hopeless addicts.
You are, and I just want to say, seen comments from people talking to us about being more consistent and all that kind of stuff. We plan on being more consistent. Just bear with us. School is more important than a podcast about football, and I believe that to the end of my days. So we'll be lenient with our 2 school guys. But other than that, thanks for listening, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. Good night, guys.
So.